Hello, everyone. Welcome to Signal. I'm your host, Trovarsi. And this month, we have a modular techno live artist based between Poland and Berlin. His his artist name is Unsur. Fully live with a Eurorack systems. I've seen him use the TR-1000. He performs entirely improvised, and he treats his modular setup like a single evolving instrument, and it's rooted mainly in hypnotic and industrial and stripped back techno, which you will all get to experience shortly. And his work prioritizes like a long form development. And yeah, so without further ado, let's bring in Unser. Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you? Happy
I'm
to be
doing
here.
well.
Thank you for the invite.
You're welcome. Thank you for wanting to be a guest. Like, I saw actually the first video I saw you do, I got the TR-1000 and I searched, and you were like one of the first ones that actually didn't, do like a tutorial, like actually used it.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is sick. And I was like, this guy is really good. And
Thank you.
yeah, and I was like, I need to get him on Signal. So thank you for being here.
Of course. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
No. I was just gonna. Yeah. When the TR-1000 came out, I just jumped on it real quick, and since I was using like a fully modular drum machine before, and I just kind of set it up in the way I would set up my modular drum machine. So I had kind of like hi-hat on one channel, 16 hats on the other, a clap on the other, and mapped sort of like the macros I usually would tweak during the performance on the modular. It was like quite a natural transition to the TR-1000, although recently I went back to using the modular drum machine. But yeah,
God.
I'm planning to go back to it in the future probably as well.
Okay. Yeah, I noticed that in this upcoming performance, that you were using like your modular drums. So before we play the performance for everyone, do you have anything that you want to say, or should we just dive in? It's up to
Let's
you.
do it. Let's listen. Let's listen to it.
All right. So here we go. Let's get into it. All right, that was awesome. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I really like I have so many questions for you about your performance. It was fantastic. I love the fact the way you go back and forth between using like broken beat to four on the floor. And just for the those who are listening and are not actually seeing the video portion, can you just walk us through like what is in your rack? Like what's in your setup for this performance?
So basically, it's two cases that I use, and I treat them. One is a full drum machine, so it has a sequencer section, then kind of the drum voices, which are the bread and butter ones from 909, the mutant hi-hats, the noisy ones that I play a lot with the DK, and kind of like the full WMD range, which I love because they are a bit different than the usual 909 sounds, you know. And then each drum voice has its own filter. I mean, they're kind of paired together.
Got
So,
it.
so the Chimera I would pair with Mutant Hats, and then Crucible I would pair with. Actually, yeah, it's not a 909 ride, but like this LPDW ride. So I put it in the same filter as well, and I put the resonance up a little bit to kind of play with the cutoff.
Got
And
it.
introduce it in and out.
Are you using the so I noticed that you've gone back and forth like with your kick drum as well. Like I've seen you use the Bohm, and now are you using the Schwayman? Is that what's in this one right now?
No,
Or
it's
what is your
actually,
kick drum?
maybe it's not very visible because it's in the corner. It's the battering ram. And then
Oh, okay.
then I split the signal and I route it through my miophone. And the filter, so it's kind of like I create the rumble through my miophone because it has a delay, and I add a little bit of the reverby thingy as well. And then low pass it or high, but I never know which one is which. But basically I cut the high end.
Gotcha.
And then it goes together into the filter with the kick. So it's kind of like the Bohm, but made, out of different modules.
Got it. So you're getting that kick, and that's where your rumble happening.
Exactly.
Yeah, it sounds great. And then what are I saw like you had like the Vermona. There's some notable other, well, I mean, your rack, both cases are amazing, right? But there are a couple things. Is it Vermona on the bottom that are those filters?
Yeah.
Are those the filters you're referring to?
Exactly. So those are free Vermona double filters.
Okay.
And just drums go through them, I just like the sound of those filters. I was using a Q MMF from Swayman before, but yeah, I switched to Vermona. I like the sound a little bit more, to be honest. Somehow I can't put my finger on it, but I like the big knobs. You can't miss them really.
Right. Yeah. I feel it's
So
all
that's
about
kind
being
of
able to reach over, right? And like grab.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Can't miss them. And then the rest is the Exelon the Exelon mixer. Everything goes through this one, which goes to two sends. One delay and one reverb, which is the RB verb, which is shared
Okay.
between synths and drums. So
Got it.
both kind of sends of both mixers go through the RB verb, or this kind of like metallic, weird reverb, which becomes like sometimes,
Yeah, that's like a
or
classic make noise. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah. No, yeah, it sounds great. And of course I can't, we have to mention the Macbeth. Is that a Macbeth module you have in the top corner?
Exactly.
Am I
It's
Yeah.
the backend filter that I'm using. I was recently I switched I also have the oscillator, but switched it to Bond from Bart Instruments. And this
Mhm.
one goes through the backend filter. It's a bit more aggressive, a bit more. I love the sound of the Macbeth dual oscillator, but for my style, always when I come up with a riff from the Macbeth, it comes out a bit soft, like really nice, smoky, buttery, beautiful sound, And for
Right.
the more aggressive style, it doesn't always fit. So the energy somehow drops. Um, or I just
Mm,
don't know how
mm.
to use it well. That might be the case. But yeah, I kept the filter in this setup, and I use it with the Bond dual oscillator.
Nice. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I've heard a lot of good things. I have a couple friends that have that Macbeth filter as well. And it's like, yeah, it
Yeah, it's
just,
beautiful. It's
yeah,
hands down my favorite filter for sure. Like anything you put through it sounds amazing, really. It's a
nice.
really
All right.
nice one.
You
And
have a
also
great,
has a big, beautiful knob that's very
is that
satisfying
the
to
to control and all
exactly.
that? Yeah.
Yeah.
So then that leads me to my question, like, do you have a preference like knobs over faders when it comes to,
Not
controlling?
really. Like the most important macro, sort of, I have mapped to the Shakmat Griffin's clause. So,
Mm,
for example, what do we have there? The cutoff of the Vic X,
okay. Uh-huh.
um, and then pitch of the ride, and then filter on the kick. And I think the last one is the volume of multigrain.
Oh, okay.
So kind of like then I can record. I don't want it to play all the time, so I just record the movement of it coming in and out. So I can like fill the spaces. So
Mm.
I record, let's say, one movement for the multigrain, and then I fill the spaces with Vic. So there's an interplay between them, and I can
Got
record
it.
those movements, kind of filling the spectrum with those voices, and also it allows me during breakdowns to, I couldn't twist four knobs at once, but I can move like everything with one hand, and it kind of creates a buildup or drops, and I can cut it off at the same time for certain section.
Nice. Yeah,
So
no, I like the Griffin's Claw too. It is
I
good
love
to,
it. Yeah, yeah. It's an amazing module.
yeah. I was going back and forth at one point, like, cause I had the planar too.
Mhm.
And then, I've seen people use like just the Dofer, the Erica synths, the one with the joystick, but
Mhm.
I do like faders. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
so the
Faders are
Griffin's,
great.
yeah,
Definitely,
yeah.
definitely. I do like
um,
them too.
Yeah. So talk about, okay, so you have two sequencers. I see you have the Oxy and then you have the Dofer. Like, what is your process? So now I know your big thing is improv, so as you are talk a little bit about your approach, just like as you're starting to write a sequence and how you
Mhm.
maneuver from one idea to the next.
Actually, through the time I discovered that my favorite sequencer is the sequencer from Moog Labyrinth.
Oh, okay.
And I kind of sequence a lot of stuff um, besides the labyrinth itself from the labyrinth. So
Mm,
because I love the randomness that you never know what's gonna come. So you have to work with what you get, and there is no going back, and you don't know what it's gonna be. So that's super exciting for me. So I kind of twist the knob on the labyrinth, usually on the unquantized scale. 'Cause I like the dissonance it creates, and sometimes if I have a scale, it's maybe too melodic or um, yeah, I don't like being bound to a scale. So I love that about the labyrinth, that it allows you to basically choose no scale. I was using also the Proteus, which you can put your own scales, but it doesn't really allow you to do unquantized completely, which I really need. But sometimes I
right.
use the Oxy as well. It depends for different jams or sets. I try different things and see what works
Mm,
best. I also use the Step 8 for the Collide 4 because they just work so well together somehow.
okay.
Also,
Okay.
it's also like unquantized. So yeah, it's a great little sequencer one.
So you just kind of maneuver between the sequencers. So I guess my next question, then I probably know the answer, but do you bother tuning your oscillators before you start playing, or do you mess with the pitch
No,
knobs as you're
not
going? Or
really.
okay.
Not really. Sometimes I try to hit the tritone by ear if I plan to play both oscillators, or just so it sounds dissonant enough to my ear. That
Mhm.
not a perfect third or fifth, just so it's like 6 semitones below or something, so that sounds weird enough.
Right, right.
Um, but yeah, I don't really tune anything. Yeah, not really.
Nice. No, well, it sounds like I said before. I mean, your sets always sound fantastic. I like the way that you
Thank you.
weave back and forth, like this broken beat and just different styles, along with hypnotic techno. Like, what, like, just kind of backtrack a little bit. How did you get into, because I know you mentioned a little like metal and rap background. Like, how did you get into Eurorack and how did you get into techno?
So drums were my first instrument. I was learning drums first, then guitar as well, and then probably through stuff like Nine Inch Nails, I got interested in electronics as well. What kind of synthesizers were they using? So that was kind of the bridge between metal and electronic music. And then yeah, I was recording my guitar stuff and started to learn Ableton as well, and do like a weird post rock techno crossovers at first,
Mhm.
purely in the box. Then I bought Analog Rhythm, I think, was my first piece of gear,
Which one?
which I
Say it
loved.
again.
And um, Analog Rhythm
Oh,
from
the analog. Okay.
Electron.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was your
That was a lovely
gateway.
piece of gear. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. So then I had a then I bought some more electrons like the Digitact and Digitone.
Mhm.
So was doing a mix of like in the box and the electron boxes, and then I bought a DFAM. So like the gateway drug to
Two.
Eurorack sort of. And
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
and from there, yeah. So from there, it kind of snowballed into what it is now. So yeah, I
Right.
got into modular maybe like 1.5 years ago. So it went pretty quick.
Yeah, it does do that
Yeah.
to you, right? Like all of a sudden,
Yeah.
like you start out
Yeah.
with, I feel like everybody starts out with like a semi-modular or like a little thing,
Exactly.
and then the next thing you know, they're like building their modular
Yeah.
grid,
Yeah.
buying and swapping modules with people.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but a year and a half. I mean, you
It's
sound. I
lucky.
mean, great.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you so much.
But-
I mean, it's lucky. It's lucky to be in Berlin because like every second neighbor is into Eurorack. So basically, like if you post something to Kleinanzeigen, which is like the kind of like local eBay, you can basically
Right.
trade modules with people from the neighborhood. So yeah, it's definitely a good place to be if you're into that. And yeah, a lot of buying and selling until you build a system that you feel comfortable with, I think.
Yes. Yeah. Are these your first cases? Are they? What cases are you using right now?
The amalgamod ones from
Amalgamon.
Australia.
And
Yeah, yeah.
then
Yeah, I think I started with an Erica case, but then, you know, it makes sense, like the layout of it, that you can fold it, and then you've got kind of yeah, I really like those cases. They are very well designed, I think.
yeah, they're the
Yeah,
way they sit
also,
up. It's nice. The way they
yeah,
stay upwards and that. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Great cases.
So, okay, so you went from metal to going into more industrial, like 9-inch nails and sort, and so a year and a half of modular. Yeah, I mean, you sound like you've been playing for more than just a year and a half, which is really
Thank you.
cool.
No, I mean, I make music for like 4 or 5 years, so I had a quite a good foundation because I released some tracks before those kind of Ableton ones that I was doing. So it really
Mhm.
helped to have a foundation, to know, what reverb does, what's EQing, all of that stuff. It would be difficult to grasp probably if I started with Eurorack, because it's with Ableton you can see it visually and you kind of see what it does. So that helped a lot, I think, to to
Like just
progress in
learn and
modular. Exactly. But then I kind of like stopped liking doing things in Ableton because it's so visual as well. So I hated seeing the music, because I started like arranging it visually, that I like how it looks instead of like how it sounds. And
listening.
I also exactly. So and also like colors started bothering me. So I had to have everything in gray. And it was like too visual for me. And here you can really focus on the music and how it sounds instead of getting lost in EQing the snare for half an hour,
Right.
that
Yeah.
was kind of those traps I kept falling into, or comparing, like coming up with a sequence, and then you think, oh, somebody did a similar sequence, and you listen to it, and then you kind of like, it's not true to yourself anymore. While
Mhm.
here, you work with comes out, and kind of like you have no time to overthink. You just have to, whatever you see, you have to touch it because you have no time to
To
think
psychoanalyze
about.
it or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I feel that like improvising life is a real expression of what's inside you because you have no time to. It's very intuitive. It's like through you, instead of
Right.
at least for me, it works this way. That I don't overthink stuff, and then maybe it becomes um, a bit of somebody else rather than only me.
Right. I like
Yeah,
that. That makes sense. Like you're just focusing on what exactly is coming out of you in that moment and working with what what you're hearing and everyone's hearing for the first time.
exactly.
So when you are approaching like releasing music, because I know you have your own label, and I don't
Mhm.
want to mispronounce it. Is it A- Anime
AMNE.
and AMNE recordings,
AMNE.
right? AMNE. Are your recordings, what is your process there then, now that you focus mainly on like improvisational techno? Do you just do a 2-track recording? Do you multi-track? Like what's your approach?
To be honest, like since I started modular, I haven't been focused on releasing any tracks.
Okay.
And now I ordered this. Now I ordered this. I don't remember what's the name. It's HR8 or something like this, but it's basically like a small multi-track recorder for Eurorack. We have
Okay.
like 8 inputs and an SD card, and you press play, um, and then it records. The like each track separately from Exelon, because like you can also get this IO thingy, and then
Mm.
you have directs out, which I haven't even tried it yet because I'm still waiting for the 2 of those modules to come. But the plan is to record the live session, maybe then try to get extract things out of them and try to build some tracks again.
Right.
Yeah,
Maybe
we'll
just
see how it
if you have to
goes.
mix it or something. Yeah,
Exactly.
it's always that journey of getting from live to getting it down, for
Yeah.
release. I really enjoy the board brain mixer as well. I use it as well, but I
Mhm.
also use the optics too. So I have
Mhm,
2 of
mhm.
those, so I can just track into Ableton that way, which is pretty handy too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Mhm.
So you have like an audio interface with a lot of inputs, or how does it work?
So I use the Digiface, the RME, and it's
Mhm,
nice because my system's a little different in the sense that I play hybrid. So I route
mhm.
things in and through Ableton and back through the mixers.
Okay.
And then yeah, so I use the optics, I use the Digiface because it's so small. It's like this big,
Mhm, mhm.
and
Yeah, yeah.
and it sounds, I mean, it's RME, so it sounds, fantastic. And
Mhm,
but yeah, and I find that way it's a little bit easier for me to, a little more streamlined, I guess, to be able to play, perform, and then, oh, I want to record a part or all of the parts. I can do that like right in the same
Nice.
session.
So you record your live sets as well when you play live. So you have all the material
Yes.
multi-tracked as well. That's
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
sweet.
Yeah. But yeah,
Nice.
it's been a journey to get to this point though. It's,
Yeah.
especially, going from, I did the same, like working in Ableton, going to hardware, and then it's like, okay, like how do you, there's so many different ways to put them both back together,
Mhm,
uh, but yeah, that's the cool thing about hearing, doing these interviews with artists like yourself. It's just hearing everyone's process, and because it's all
mhm,
just a little different. There's some overlaps, but there's always just a little bit different things. And I'm hoping that people, like I know I learn, like, so I'm learning things from you, and I'm hoping that as people listen to the interview, they'll learn things from you as well. What is so I guess now that that you're taking this approach, like, do you have any artists that are influencing you? And I know that could be an ebb and flow, right? Because there's so many, like,
mhm.
so currently, what are your influences right now? Or do you have any?
So I definitely learned a lot also about production from my friend Arthur Robert. He showed me a lot about production that I apply still. And he also has he basically doesn't multi-track anything. He
Oh, okay.
records straight from the machines in one go, like a long jam, and then finds the best parts and kind of that's it. And it sounds amazing. His releases are phenomenal.
I'll
So
have to
it's
check him
also
out.
doable. Mhm.
Mhm.
And I think also I might be wrong, but I think Steph Mendesidis also does the same.
Okay.
Um,
I've
so
heard
so it's
his stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I think it's definitely possible, like remixing so you make sure it sounds good before, but yeah, it kind of, I guess it requires a certain level or yeah, knowledge to kind of have everything.
Right. It's more of like even having like an idea. Like I've done a EP where it was just, you know, a couple EPs where it's live, but it was like
Mhm.
definitely the idea created was improv, but then it's like going back and thinking about how you're going to intro it, build it up, bring it down, like give
Right.
it some structure. And then, yeah, and then just kind of picking
Yeah,
the best
I tried
recording.
also exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But it's kind of like a different mindset when recording a track, you know, because like tracks are usually made for DJs, and
Yes. Uh-huh.
then it really needs like this intro part to allow some time to mix it in and then mix it out, which kind of like I tried cutting out some parts from the live sets, but not really possible. They are too short. The sections are usually like 2 to 4 minutes, which is like the part that a DJ would play. But in order for it to be a viable track, it really needs to be like these 5, 6 minutes with a proper intro, which like
Right.
you don't do in a live set. You don't have that yeah, intro and outro for every track, you know, in a live set. So that wasn't really an option to cut it out straight from the jams. So like when I record um, jams with the idea of it becoming a track, maybe it really I record maybe like 10 minutes and I try to have those sections, you know, and then they're more patient because I know that my style is quite unpatient, you know. I have a lot of changes and everything changes very quickly from one idea to another. So so yeah, it's harder for me to record like tracks, you know.
Right. Because
That's
you have to think about like, okay, wait. Like you need
exactly
an
so.
intro and an outro.
Exactly, because I'm when I play, it's like, what's next? What's next? Because I'm like, I'm curious what's gonna come out of the system. You know, I want to see what's
Keep
there and
going.
listen to the next. Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
When
So
you're
yeah.
writing like an idea, do you think bass line lead, or do you just kind of focus on like thinking about like one sound at a time, or you know what I mean? I don't know if that question.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Sometimes I'm really surprised of what came out. You know, so I don't know what to do with it. So then you're like, oh shit, I have to kind of like strip it down a little bit or make it chiller, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
uh, there are modules that can explode in your face, like the Polite 4, for example, can get extremely loud. So sometimes I think there were in the set there is 1 or 2 moments where I was like, whoa, that's not great, but yeah, it's in there, I think. So that was
Yeah,
the
no,
Polite 4 that kind of like, it's very touchy. So if you like we get like 2 millimeters too much to the right, then it kind of explodes in your face. And um,
uh it gets a little out of hand. I call it angry elephant. Like
exactly,
when it's like all like
exactly,
you have to kind of rein it in.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So kind of yeah, I don't really have this like split. I kind of listen to what comes out and then try to fill in the spots with different voices. So if I have something going on from the labyrinth that's kind of like in the low mid range, then maybe I'm gonna introduce something with the other voice and then pitch it up a little bit so they don't overlap or don't have the same function. So I
Mm,
don't
mm.
think about it in terms of like baseline, but I think about what
Like,
place on the spectrum they would have, or I would filter the low end of a certain voice so that it doesn't clash with the one that's playing at the moment. Or maybe if they overlap in frequencies, that then with the Griffin's clause, I try to record it so that it doesn't play at the same time, you know? So there's like a call and response or Yeah, more in this way. So everything like has its own place. It doesn't always work as I would like, and sometimes it becomes a mess, and then I have to strip it all back and then start from scratch. Introduce a new track, sort of.
Right,
But yeah,
right.
I'm doing my best to make it work.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, you've been doing a great job. I didn't, the
Thank
thing
you.
that you were talking about earlier, I didn't hear anything that like stood out to me, like that I was like, whoa, but always I feel like as artists, we're always our worst critics, right? And we hear
Yeah,
the mistakes that, no one else really hears. So,
definitely,
so,
definitely, definitely.
what, uh, do you have anything coming up or out, like any shows that you want to just tell people about right now, as we're getting to the end of the interview, like just
So we're gonna.
anything you want to
I'm not
share?
really not really sure when this episode is gonna come out, but we're gonna have a event in Berlin for Vex Berlin, which is a new concept from my friend Max Dahlhaus, which is also an amazing experimental artist. I'm probably gonna record my set just out of curiosity of how it was to listen to it afterwards. Maybe I would release it someday. We'll see. But yeah, I think there will be more of those events to come as well. It's a new concept that we're gonna try, which is we're gonna focus not on techno, more like experimental, ambient, and breakbeat.
Oh, okay, that
Uh,
sounds pretty cool.
Kyoka is gonna be the headliner. He's an amazing experimental artist from Tokyo. Max Dahlhaus is gonna play, myself, and some other amazing artists and DJs. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, Berlin is definitely a good place for that as well. I mean, I love techno, and I definitely plan um, to work in that direction as well. But it's partly why this set is a bit different and more breakbeaty is because I'm sort of trying different things for the event as well.
Yeah,
So
it's good to
trying to
try new
get
things
out of
too.
my exactly,
Yeah.
definitely.
Well, I'm looking forward to meeting you in person. I'll be in Berlin for a week during Super Booth, so we should definitely connect, and
Perfect.
maybe
Yeah,
we can even get in the studio and jam or something.
let's
Um,
do it.
yeah, for sure. Thank you
Definitely.
so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you
It's
so much. It was lovely to chat and meet you.
thank you. All right, everyone. We'll see you next month on Signal.